Grundig Boy 35, 1985. This is the documentation of the experience of a hobby project, made with the hope that it could be helpful to others. This video shows only a simple cleaning and fixing process, and there is no extra written documentation attached to it. This is a solid-state AM/FM radio produced by Grundig in the 1980s, which was placed at the lower end of its range of small portable radios. It appears in the Grundig Review 1985, page 139, with the technical details on page 149. It continues to appear in the Grundig Review up to the 1988 edition. There is a schematic diagram online, but without the component values. Most of the units of this radio model, still available today, have a damaged battery compartment which prevents the lid from staying properly closed. These images are from online auctions. The unit of this video has the same issue and should be repaired. The battery compartment cover does not stay closed because two plastic strips have broken where the lid hooks should fit. Therefore, the back shell of the case must be separated from the rest of the radio. Again, here is what is not working with the battery compartment lid. The plan is to put two thin strips of metal cut from a sheet of a used spray paint can. These additional metal strips are glued with super glue, which however does not stick. Therefore, baking soda is used to activate it. The lid is pressed gently to engage the lid hooks on the metal strips, which bend slightly upwards. It works, but the space at the end of the metal strips, where the original plastic is missing, needs to be filled. Baking soda and super glue are used again for the purpose. It works, but there is another thing to consider. The two metal strips would get in touch with the battery contacts, shorting them. Therefore, it is necessary to provide some insulation. Some cardboard is cut for the purpose, gluing it on top of the metal strips. Once again, baking soda is used to activate the super glue. Once the work is done, the plastic shell must be cleaned from the last residues of baking soda, which otherwise would affect the electronics, becoming a corrosive agent. it is appropriate to remove the circuit board from the front shell of the case for the purpose of cleaning the radio. The space where most of the dust remains trapped is under the loudspeaker cone. Therefore, it is better to remove that as well. It is then possible to wash the two shells of the plastic case using water and a mild detergent. With an air blower, they can be dried easily, and if necessary, the process can be repeated until the result is satisfactory. Some Vaseline oil is distributed on the surface to bring back some of the original shine. This also helps in finishing the cleaning process. The air blower is used again to remove the excess from the areas that would be difficult to reach with a rag, including the small cracks and holes. Also, the circuit board needs some cleaning. In particular, the volume potentiometer knob is removed to access the wiper contact, where some Vaseline oil is added as well. Then, before putting back the knob, the curling is cleaned using a toothbrush. Like in most portable radios, the contacts in the battery compartment are corroded, and they don't do their job. Some solder is applied on the contacts to solve the problem. However, applying solder on corroded contacts is not easy, and it requires some persistence. The liquid applied with the small paintbrush is just Vaseline oil, and it is used to make the soldering job a little bit easier. The radio is slowly put back together. Also, the band switch selector requires some attention. Some Vaseline oil is used here as well for the contacts. Before closing the case, only the telescopic antenna remains to be soldered to the green wire. Finally, it is time to put the batteries in. However, the original piece of rubber foam attached to the compartment lid must be removed because the pressure that it makes on the batteries could break the lid again. The reception is tested late in the evening, starting with the medium wave band. In this case, only the internal ferrite antenna is used.
Ma per diverse grandi città italiane, Roma da qualche tempo, i controlli sono stati intensificati con la ricostituzione di un reparto della polizia locale che si occupa solo di verifiche di alberghi e pensioni.
Turystycznych chodników. Pomlad prinaša prve tekaške in kolesarske.
For the FM band, the telescopic antenna is required. Therefore, it is extracted.
Vaticano.
È stata protagonista in numerosi spettacoli.
Sì, e quando si parte solo in Nord Italia.
Nina si distingue anche.
Stai attento a lui. La villa è al discorso.
E sono capsule di caffè.
Se improvvisamente scopri ma lo sai che un po' 035 651 democrazia e talk to you we're traveling la cripta il 30 ottobre e mi sento come mi tocca